This is Public Forum Debate. Here we are going to cover cryptocurrency regulation pro and con arguments. First, let's start with pro arguments. The first one is to mitigate the drug trade. Bitcoin is fueling America's opioid crisis, and increasing regulation could stop the drug trade. According to Moy and Sloan in 2018, Shamo appeared to have placed an expert bet. The value of his holdings shot from about $767,000 to at least $10 million over the course of a year. Federal authorities say he built his wealth by harnessing the dark side of digital currency, using it to fund a vast underground marketplace of illegal activity. He was accused of trafficking the deadly opioid fentanyl and financing the operation with Bitcoin. Law enforcement uncovered more than 500 Bitcoin after raiding his house in 2016. Shamo is now in prison awaiting trial. He is part of a new generation of criminals who buy and sell drugs online and cover their tracks with cryptocurrencies. Because it's anonymous, it's a currency of choice for these drug traffickers. On the pro, you could find more evidence that could suggest that increasing regulation would allow companies to report these transactions and therefore stop the money flow of illegal activities. A second argument the pro team could run is popularity, and there's specific impacts that you can run to this. Polling proves that regulation is critical. According to Cigna in 2019, regulation is the antithesis of chaos that virtual assets initially thrived in. Regulations establish order so that a system can function more consistently, safely, and with mostly predictable outcomes. Cryptocurrencies can be seen as a normal, less volatile risk with regulation. 1 in 4 US residents are intrigued by cryptocurrency but won't buy it anytime soon, as its price volatility, long-term legal status, and barriers to purchasing remain prohibitive. One could argue that under a pro world, people would become less scared and thus more likely to buy Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, making the cryptocurrency market more popular. By tying crypto owners to virtual assets, the crypto industry will be able to clean up its act. Regulators can better identify unsullied virtual currencies from those tainted by money laundering, terrorism funding, and other crime. Financial institutions will be able to prove the bona fides, increasing its value as a long-term investment. A poll showed that the average American is very distrustful towards cryptocurrency. Most adults believe cryptocurrencies are more often than not used for illegal activity. Turning this misconception around should be a collective goal for the entire industry, and regulation would make it a great ally. On the con side, there are a few additional arguments one could run. The first of which is self-regulation, which essentially holds that more regulation would not work. Instead, we should look to self-regulation, which the industry is already doing. According to Howell and Pottgeister in 2019 from Indiana University, there is a virtual commodity association that conducts self-regulation. The establishment of the VCA provides a signal of the maturing of the cryptocurrency exchange market. It provides a credible alternative to government regulation, as those trading in the markets are best placed to observe risky behavior and act to close it down for the benefit of the entire club and, by extension, industry. Exchange clubs such as the VCA are likely to act both sooner and more effectively at plugging gaps in their codes of practice that affect the trading prospects of members than government action. Essentially, this is evidence alluding to the fact that these clubs have more information and could thus be more effective than government regulation. The US government is willing to investigate possible breaches of its existing laws rather than rushing to impose new laws. Another argument that the con could run would be remittances. Regulations undermine the ability to transfer remittances. According to Joshua Jahani, who is a lecturer at Cornell and NYU and an investment banker from Newsweek, as regulators in remittance source countries like the US and UK turn their sights on cryptocurrencies, they should remember how indispensable those currencies are to some of the world's most vulnerable. Cryptocurrency will increasingly become indispensable as local currencies become not only difficult to access, but unreliable as the store of value. Conflict fuels inflation, which makes currencies less valuable or sometimes worthless. If we regulate cryptocurrency transfers to appease the crypto hawks at home, we risk turning our backs again at those who need this asset class the most, the Afghan people and many like them. Foreign aid has halted, which makes up approximately 40% of Afghanistan's GDP. Remittances make up approximately 4% of the country's GDP. Afghanistan is not alone. Cryptocurrency usage has spiked recently in Lebanon, Turkey, and Venezuela. People there are not trying to get rich, they're simply trying to receive funds from relatives abroad. Regulation will not only affect speculators, it will also hit these families who need remittances the most. For this reason, a good con team could point out to the fact that regulation could likely lead to less remittance transfers to people in need of the money. Thank you for watching. If you want any additional video ideas, please leave them in the comments below, and please like this video to promote it to other debaters.